Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 58 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. If you have ever struggled with making decisions and you have been curious about a framework that you can utilize to help you make decisions, well, you are in luck, because today I am going to introduce you to the chakra system and how it can help you make decisions. Maybe you don't know what the chakra system is, or maybe you have an extensive knowledge of the system. Either way, this framework will be simple to understand, easy to apply, so let's get started. So this chakra system wasn't what I thought it was. When I did my yoga teacher training, the summer I completed my MBA at Columbia, many years ago, I was introduced to the chakra system, but like many things, I didn't fully understand the power of this framework until I was ready to understand the power of this framework. It came back to me several years ago when I was at a point in my life where I was really seeking a lot more meaning in the immaterial world and less meaning in the material world. And this is really about that pursuit of spirituality, even if I didn't realize it at the time. And it was when I realized that the material world really couldn't withstand scrutiny. What I mean by that is that I realized that pressure would never end. The stress would never stop. Grief would come from the loss of loved ones, and the wanting for the next thing would always be there. There would always be a next, as long as I kept thinking that happiness was found somewhere outside of me. And it wasn't just this idea that there was always a next or that grief would come. It was the idea that I was suffering as a result, that I was feeling a lot less empowered about my life, and I couldn't figure out why my system of belief has not worked out for me. And this really started that pursuit of a more inward journey. And many of you spiritual achievers may be feeling this way or have felt this way. You did the thing, and now what? You completed the plan that you put in place, and then now what? What happens after this? Why don't I know who I am or what I stand for? Or how can I know that better? And naturally, as the outside world breaks down, and as the outside world broke down for me, I went inward. I realized that there was something about this energetic world that I hadn't explored. It was this connection in the thing between the outside world and the mind. It was the world of energy that you can explain as the world beyond our sight, our senses, physical touch, our smell. And it is that in between, before our thoughts become form. And it was after I pivoted my career and I decided to complete my coaching certification at Columbia, where I had completed my MBA as well, that I began to train and be certified in the field of spirituality as well. And one of these trainings was led by Gabby Bernstein, and it was at a wellness center in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. I was really in that process of seeking at that time. I was taking a variety of spiritual classes. I was diving deeper into texts and books so that I could understand myself and the world completely differently. And some of you may be in that right now, and you feel like you just have this stack of books at your bedside, or you're just constantly trying to learn and absorb more and more and more. I was just feeling like there was so much you wanted to learn about the world. And that's where I was. And I continue to be. And I realized that was one of the signs of growth and spiritual growth and a deep passion for me was when I started voraciously reading again. And I had been a voracious reader when I was a child. And it stopped as I began to enter the world of academia, like college, where there was a lot more pressure to perform in very specific ways, but I didn't do what I used to do in terms of reading. And it came back to me years later when I really found this deep thirst for knowledge again. And so if you're feeling that, it's a sign likely that you're on this spiritual path, you're in this process of growth, and you're trying to go inward and learn a lot more so that you can understand the world in a better way. And so one night I had free time. There were a variety of different classes that this wellness center would offer because they had different teachers who were teaching courses there. And these teachers would offer free workshops so that other people could get to know their work. And the workshop that I attended one evening was led by Dr. Anadea Judith, who is one of the leading experts on the chakra system. It was after that workshop that I really started learning and reading a lot more about this world of energy. I was already leaning that way because of all of the work in the spiritual pursuits and really starting to dive deeper inward. So whether it was energy healing, energy medicine, energetic bodies, it was all of that. And I know that when we hear about different systems from different cultures or places in the world, that it can seem intimidating or weird or strange or just something that we're a little nervous about. What I've realized is that all of it is language and context. But when you can see beyond language, when you can see beyond rituals, you just identify with yourself what resonates with you. And you might know a lot about the chakra system. You might know nothing about it at all. What I'm going to share with you is my experience with them and how they can be a wonderful framework for us to run our decisions through to help guide us when we're not sure of which way to go or what to do next. And I really hope that like anything else, you can understand what you need to take away is whatever it is you need to take away from this. Always question what you're learning and hearing, no matter who it's coming from, including myself, so that you can make it your own and it comes from a place of your own experience and knowledge. Doubt is completely normal. Being critical, not in a negative way, but just critical in terms of discerning and having that critical thinking is normal and it's expected. But so is the ability for you to discern and understand what rings true for you. So let's dive in to the basics of the chakra system. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the chakra system is, how to use it for decision making. And there's so much more you can learn about the chakras, how to use it for healing, among other things. And in fact, I have been so interested that I have embarked on a chakra healing certification so that I could learn more about it. But again, you decide for yourself how much you want to know. And so the chakra system is, at its core, a way of understanding our energetic body. The word chakra means wheel or disc and is derived from the Sanskrit word Chakra. It traces its roots to the Vedic system, which is the early Hindu philosophy and that were passed down orally from generation to generation. The chakras represent energetic centers in our body. They're located along the spine and they correspond to different body parts, glands, organs. There are 7 chakras that we typically refer to. The root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. The sacral chakra, which is a little bit above the base of the spine and about 3 inches below your navel. Then there's the solar plexus chakra, which is about 3 inches above your navel. The heart chakra, self-explanatory at the heart. The throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and then the crown chakra, which is right above our head. So how does this relate to decisions? Well, decisions are a way for us to bring thought into form. And I want you to think about it if you haven't thought about that before, because we have so many choices that we make in our lives. Many of them we don't even realize that we are making. We choose what to believe. We choose what this thing means. We choose how to respond, what to say, and to whom. And if you struggle with decision making, it often feels like a waste of energy when you struggle. We feel spent, confused, and like we didn't utilize our time really well, which is one of our most precious resources. And every day we place our focus on different things. And when we do that, we bring our energy there. As we place our energy upon our thoughts, we give them power. That is why lacking decision-making finesse can feel like a waste of energy. You could have done something else with all of that time and focused energy. And what we don't realize is that decision-making can be a forte, an our forte. It is simply a natural expression of our body, of experiences, our knowledge, our intuition. We admire those who make decisions with ease and with confidence. We want to be one of those people who seem to know exactly what to say and when. They just seem to effortlessly glide from one decision to the next with a superb ton of clarity. My question is, why can't that be you? And it can be. It doesn't matter if you are making a personal decision or a professional decision. We can relate all of these to the chakras for a holistic understanding of what it means to move quickly and accurately. So here are 7 questions that if you can run through while you're making a decision will help you unblock, align the chakras, meaning that our energy is completely fluid and we're able to express our thought to action quickly. Here are the 7 questions. So the first one is this: how does this impact my sense of security or our sense of security? The root chakra represents the sense of safety, of groundedness, and it is a sense of knowing that this decision makes sense for us security-wise, that we can bring it into the real world from an idea. And the trick here, though, is understanding where security comes from. We sometimes think that security comes from money, from power, from status, but it may not. So question this here when you think about it. Security can also be a sense of freedom that comes from realizing that you create your own sense of security internally. Again, this is where you can start to break down some of the ways that you believe security is gained. And as you start to question some of these beliefs, you become a lot more free in your ability to make these decisions. So it's a little bit layered here, but just work with me when I start to speak about some of the complexities, because even though it's really simple to understand, when you get it, you can really get it. And when you question it, you go even deeper within. All right, so number 2, the second question is this: how does this decision affect others? That is the sacral chakra. That sacral chakra is about creativity. It's about pleasure, our relationship with others. It's asking the question, will this creation, which expresses our innate sense of what we think is our desires and what we want to do next, when expressed, does it bring us and others satisfaction? The third question is, will this decision bring me power? So that's the solar plexus. It's our center of confidence, of self-empowerment. It is where our force of action and our discipline creates this sense of power. So I'm moving from the root to the sacral to the solar plexus. This doesn't mean power over others, but more of the sense of agency in your own life. This is personal power. This is self-power. This is self-leadership. The fourth question: is this decision an act of love, an act of self-love? The heart chakra. The heart chakra, right? Again, we're moving from the root to the sacral to the solar plexus and now up to the heart chakra. The heart chakra is about compassion, kindness, acceptance of ourselves and of others. We don't often realize that these altruistic or seemingly altruistic tendencies actually start with a connection to ourselves. It starts with less judgment and more love towards ourselves. When we can see ourselves as whole and as complete, we don't make decisions from a place of ego, from a place of lack or fear. And the decisions that come from a place of lack or fear are often not as empowering and as expansive as the ones that come from a place of security, because we already know who we are. So instead of wrapping our beliefs of lack, our need for more security that isn't real into the whole decision, we're able to isolate it to what actually needs to be done from a very natural, simple, and clear place. All right, so let's move up to the throat chakra. The fifth question is, does this decision represent my ability to keep my word to myself? The throat chakra shows us that our words have powers and that what we speak into our lives becomes true. When we act in integrity and with congruence with what we believe and we say what we mean, we become the people who keep our word to ourselves. This is how we become so clear, and our energy never feels like it's wasted in these half-truths or in this indecisiveness. So this we can go into a little bit deeper, but I'm not going to go into that here. But you can understand how much power comes from our ability to say what we mean and mean what we say and do what we say. Our integrity is everything in that throat chakra region. And our ability to make decisions from that allows us to understand, is this the type of decision that a person who claims to be the kind of person that I want to be, whether it's a self-leader or whether it's a leader, whether it is whatever kind of identity that you feel is empowering, is that the kind of decision that kind of person would make? Simple, clear, easy to understand when you come from this place of congruency to an identity that serves. And again, we are not our identity, but we can create identities that serve us in the moment, that help us see the kind of person, the kind of actions that we need to take in order for us to step into the power, the leadership that is needed in that moment. People need clarity. I cannot even express that enough. How many of you would just feel like the world was yours if you knew exactly what you needed to do? This is what I'm talking about. We have all of that in us. And you can be that for other people as well. You can be that lighthouse. You can be that level of clarity for folks. You can be the person who, even when you don't know, you know. And that is a different sense of integrity and a sense of ownership of who we are than just this idea of saying things and randomly doing stuff, or not really knowing what we said to who, to when, and changing our minds back and forth over and over and over again, and not sticking to what we said, or being thoughtful about what we said we would do and correcting from that or moving from that very intentionally and conscientiously. All right, that was the throat. There's a lot there. So let's move up to the third eye chakra. And the question that would help you align that chakra is understanding, does this decision come from a place of wisdom and truth? The third eye is our connection to wisdom, is our connection to intuition. It's our connection to a deeper truth. It's about going beyond the superficial and the material and using your principles, using your values to guide your decisions. No one is going to tell you what is right or wrong. You get to decide for yourself what that is. It may seem scary sometimes in the beginning when we realize that we have that level of power in our lives to drive to create a world that embodies our values, our principles, the way we want to live in the world. Yet it is the most natural thing for you to do. And when you remove all of the stuff around you, you can start to come back to what is your wisdom? What is your truth? What is the sense of knowing that you have about something before all the noise came into play? This is what I mean by the principles, the values, what you believe is important in your life, and how you can actually use that to guide your decision making. All right, number 7, the 7th question, and we're heading into the crown chakra, is this. Do I have faith that this decision will be supported by the universe? So the crown chakra is our connection to the divine, whether it means the universe, nature, God, gods, or your highest self. When you are able to have faith that this decision is supported by universal energy, that you're working with the natural flow, you allow decisions to not feel like they are this heavy burden that you are to carry alone, rather than a natural expression of your most divine and authentic self, rather than your spiritual self coming through and leading the way. And realizing that as much as you've created an identity, you can break it down and become even more than that at any point in time that you need to. All right, so when you can answer yes to these questions, to these 7 questions, and if you feel aligned with each of these, you know that you've aligned your energy and your power from thought to action, from divine self to real world human self, from source to creation. And the chakras are a way of understanding that when we're bringing from the crown all the way to the root, we are taking from the divine and to that universal life force energy all the way into the reality, the root, the groundedness, the manifestation in the outside world, the creation of the thoughts and the experiences and the ideas that you have into form. It's a way of understanding all of that we are these spiritual beings that are bringing about change into this world. No matter how small you feel your impact is, it has an impact. We are able to express and we are creating all day long. And decision making goes from this tedious or doubt-filled exercise that takes you forever to do to an experiment in self-expression and listening to who you are. Our ability to be clear of mental clutter, of our ability to be clear of all of that noise, will allow us to make decisions quickly and increase that decision speed and accuracy. Whether you come to this place of understanding of all the chakras or not really isn't the point. This chakra system is a guide. It's a guide for asking yourself the questions that allow you to run through and return back to the different points of focus that create this holistic way of living. So, with all that being said, I want to know what resonates with you and how you use it. You can always write to review, let me know. You can write to may@mayhemson.com, support@mayhemson.com. Let me know what resonates with you. I love to hear how people are using the material and the content that I'm teaching. And in this month's leadership group coaching program, we are covering how to take aligned action and bridging that gap between intuition, between vision from divine to the practical world where the actions all matter. And what this does is it closes the gap. It closes the gap between our desires and what we are currently experiencing. And it frees us from a lot of the suffering and indecision that we have in our lives. This coming week, we're diving deeper into the chakras in our coaching program, and we're workshopping our decisions and the actions we currently have on our plate so you can know this from a sense of reality and from a sense of practicality. And if you enjoy these kinds of topics, you can always go to www.mayhemson.com/contact to reach out and learn more. If you're interested in learning more and reading about chakra healing, there are a few additional resources that I will link for you in the show notes. There is a book about chakra healing. There is a book from Dr. Anadea Judith about charge and the energy body as well. And so you can look at all of these things and see what resonates with you. You can also reach out if you think it's a good fit to join my coaching program and learn more, and we can dive deeper there as well. All right, my friends, have an amazing week. Sending love to all of you. And I'm wishing you a happy, beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.